solution. Visit afa.net today and discover the resources available for you and your family. And if you would, please take a minute to show your support. That's afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President Trump signing an executive order Monday to end cashless bail in America, which he says is a major cause of crime in this country.
Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. Cashless bail, we're ending it. I don't like going to a town, city, place, a state, and then be criticized by some corrupt or incompetent governor where crime is rampant. I think the Democrats better get smart. And, politically, I hope they don't. But actually, in terms of love for the country, I hope they do, because it would be good to work together.
New York City resident Madeleine Brahm's son was killed by a criminal who had been arrested, then released because of cashless bail.
This policy has created this environment of lawlessness that we see happening in cities like New York and Los Angeles and D.C., all right, and Chicago. They call it different things in different states. It's not called cashless bail here. It's called bail reform here, all right? Raise the age, less is more, elder parole, all these different pieces of policy that have been put in place, all right, that put the criminal before the actual victim.
The Democratic National Committee held a meeting in Minneapolis yesterday, and Democratic strategist Ensha Rahman weighed in when it comes to fighting crime, and this is how she recommends Democrats handle it.
We are at a moment of incredible opportunity for Democrats to take the upper hand on this issue. Don't be afraid of the crime debate. Lean all the way in. Call out what Trump is doing and say, the reason crime is going down, our communities are becoming safer, is because of us. Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans.
White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly says, yes, these things do matter to Americans.
Yeah, well, the president spoke to this yesterday. We are having incredible results with this president's surge of law enforcement in D.C. in the form of 1,000 arrests. That is 1,000 dangerous criminals that are now behind bars because of this president's action and ending dangerous policies like cashless bail that allow further recidivism, that put law enforcement in danger, and worst of all, put more victims in danger. So this president is committed to cleaning up D.C., continuing this effort to put the focus on victims to make sure that what happened to these people doesn't continue to happen again, and that law-abiding citizens in D.C., Chicago, all across the country can live their lives without fear of being a victim of violent crime.
A Chicago-based black conservative activist says she is happy that Donald Trump is considering sending National Guard troops to the Windy City.
President Trump called the Windy City a mess. The city struggles with poverty and gang activity and has a crime rate higher than the national average. He called far-left Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson grossly incompetent. Johnson responded by calling the Trump administration's efforts, quote, uncoordinated, uncalled for, and unsound. P. Ray Easley is founder and chair of Chicago Red and an ambassador for the Project 21 Black Leadership Network.
We are so happy in the city of Chicago, and we want to publicly thank the president for keeping his word and coming to help free us from the clutches of the international drug cartel. What the president is going to do is bring the National Guard here to dismantle the cartel.
And Easley has a response to her mayor calling Trump's actions tyranny.
The tyranny comes into play when we look at people like my family who have been in mourning for decades because we have family members who were murdered without justice. Tyranny looks like them spending our money to reward the people who paid the cartel to traffic them illegally into our country. We're the ones who are suffering. But because the mayor has already publicly aligned himself with foreigners in the third world, he's going to put their issues before ours, like he always does.
Easley hopes the president will visit Chicago and see for himself. I'm Chad Groening.
More news online at afn.net. And download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
It's Bibles for Babies Week on AFR. Here's Ann Cockrell. co-host of Hannah's Heart.
My son, John Micah, went to be with Jesus just 27 minutes after his birth. I never want his memory to die. Even in our grief, we can bless others, and that's why we do Bibles for Babies.
A gift of $10 provides a new beginner's Bible for an expectant mother and her baby. Call 877-616-2396 to donate. Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Tuesday, August the 26th, 2025. As always, thank you for listening to AFR. Joining me in studio today is Wesley Wildman. Good morning, Wesley.
Good morning.
And good morning, Fred Jackson.
Hey there, Tim.
And Ray Pritchard. How you doing, Brother Ray?
Hey, just doing great. Tim, how are you today?
Doing well. Weather report for Kansas City, Kansas is what?
Oh, let me tell you, it's just a little bit of paradise. 72 degrees, blue skies, not much wind, going all the way up to 77, Tim. So, as always, I can get you a tea time about 1:15.
Man, that sounds – how could you play bad golf on a great day like that, right? If you were able to 72 degrees. 72 degrees is almost perfect for anything.
It is at a high at 77. That's max. That's
is that what you got there? What do we? It's must be a cold front sweeping the country because
on behalf of Canada, you're welcome.
Is that what it is?
Well, it's not sweeping all the country. Out west, it's really, really hot, I think. But a lot of us, we even here in the deep south, experiencing
we're going down the 50s tonight.
Well,
whoa. Here in Mississippi.
In Mississippi in August.
Yeah, I think that's in the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
The end draweth, Tim. The end draweth nigh.
It was just a year ago. I don't know if it was this week or a year ago last week in Mississippi.
A year ago last week?
Yeah, a year ago last week. We had do I need to explain that to you?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think we'll just move on. Go ahead.
The temperature in Tupelo, Mississippi is at our headquarters. It exceeded 110 degrees heat index.
Wow.
And then, of course.
This time last year you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't really had in Mississippi, that is, or at least where we live, true August in the sense that we've exceeded multiple days over 100 degrees, which is typical for August for North Mississippi. So a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, nice weather for a lot of the country, absolutely. And Ray's going on a bike ride this afternoon, aren't you, Ray?
Yes, sir. And Tim, college football
is in the air.
It's in the air. It's the season. Here we come.
In the air. Yeah, college football season starts this. Well, it's already started.
Already started. Yeah.
Last week was what they call week 0, and this is the true week 1 coming up here, with almost all the schools across the country having their first games of the season. Biggest game the national high-profile game is Texas at Ohio State. I don't know what Ohio State's ranked. They were the defending national champions, and of course Texas is number 1.
They're ranked number 3.
Okay, it's 1 and 3. Okay.
A 1 versus 3.
Yeah.
On the field of number 3, and of course it's the debut of Arch Manning as his first time to be the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. So all eyes will be on another Manning behind the center this time for Texas. All right, as we say, a lot to talk about on the program today. I wanted to mention before we get into the topics that we have our 2026 tours to the Holy Land and to Greece. We call that Greece trip the Footsteps of Paul tour. And so if you want to go on one of those or both of them, you want to look into that, you can go to the website www.wildmangroup.com, www.wildmongroup.com, and all the wildmangroup.com website, and that's got all the information you want to know about the trip to Israel in March and the trip to Greece. Again, the Greece trip is the Footsteps of Paul tour, but
they're going to get some young bucks with the Greece trip, the Footsteps for Paul. Walker and I are doing it.
Yeah, you and Walker are leading the tour to Greece.
Yeah.
And the Footsteps of Paul. And so my wife and I, Allison, will be going to Israel again, and look forward to taking some pilgrims from around the country to the Holy Land. So, again, check that out. That's in March of 2026, and we're 2/3 full on both of those trips. 2/3 already full. All right, what is your first story, Fred?
Well, this is week 3 of President Trump's crackdown on crime in the District of Columbia. We reported yesterday, I think it was, over 1,000 arrests so far. Well, last night, there were another 100 arrests last night. But last night, a Fox reporter was embedded with the soldiers as they went about doing their duty, arresting bad people. And one of the people that they picked up, he actually did an interview with the Fox reporter. And I want you to have a listen to what he had to say. He kind of basically laid it out this way. This is no big deal. I'll be out before you know it. Cut 15.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and a runner never shows up. I done been over DC jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. DC jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time.
Who is that now?
This was one of the guys arrested last night.
I can't tell if he's upset that he's being let out.
No, I think his attitude, this is no big deal. I'll be out in a few days. This has happened to me before.
6 times before.
Okay,
you're going to need to play that again.
We need to play that again. Also, I was trying to interpret what he was saying because he wasn't. His English.
I'll help you with the interpretation.
Okay, but so this is a guy in Washington, D.C.
arrested last night.
Who was arrested last night by the police.
Yes.
And
these are his comments.
He's talking about how he doesn't get in trouble for his actions, right?
That's right.
It's kind of like, he sounded to me like he's frustrated, like,
I'm trying
to watch it. What's the point of arresting me again? Nothing ever happens to me.
Yes.
Is that what we're hearing? Go ahead and play that again.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and a runner never shows up. I done been over DC jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. DC jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time.
Now, that sounded like he said something about 6 times for this warrant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And somebody never shows up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, listen.
He said the judge tells the officers to put him in a 3-day hold.
Okay.
Once he's in a 3-day hold, by the way, he's being arrested for a warrant.
Okay.
Well, then the warrant, they're saying that 6 times that they've come to arrest him for the warrant or to provide a consequence for the warrant, they never show up. So then they have to let him go because of 3 days expires.
I got you.
And he said, I've done this 6 times.
6 times.
Basically, you're wasting your time. Just let me go now.
Right. Right. Well, the reason that violent crime is out of control in America's big cities is because the judges let the criminals go time and time and time again. In fact, tragically, every day you read about these kinds of stories, but last night I was reading a story. It was the lead story on Daily Mail website. Ray and Fred and Wesley, we talked about this morning at the meeting. There was a young lady who was in America from the Ukraine. She escaped the Ukraine because of the war, and she was living in the Charlotte, North Carolina area.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she was by herself or whatever, but she was on the platform waiting for a train. Have I got the story right, Fred?
Yes, so far so good.
That's correct.
And again, this is only to highlight what happened to her and who did this to her. Go ahead.
Yeah, this 23-year-old, beautiful young Ukrainian refugee standing waiting for the train to come in. And I'm reading from the New York Post story here. She was knifed to death by a homeless career criminal.
And that's fair yeah. I appreciate they using the language they did, a career criminal, when you've been arrested as many times as he has.
Yeah.
How many did it cite how many times they caught the guy? how many times? Multiple
saw the number
times.
this morning. I pulled it up.
It was.
He's been in and out just many, many times.
No.
Ray, do you have any thoughts on maybe why the American justice system is so lax on even violent criminals?
It's mostly in big cities. Is that not fair to say? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it isn't part of the problem. That fella up in Washington. This is kind of interesting. We're used to hearing from the police these interviews, but to hear somebody who's just been arrested, I don't know how they got that interview, but it's actually he's speaking the truth. He's saying, okay, they're going to hold me for 3 days, and when the time comes up for my hearing, the arresting cop is not going to show up for whatever reason, and so the judge is going to say, cut him loose, right? Because we can't keep him. So it's not enough just to say, well, we've got judges who are soft on crime. When you've got police forces that are overwhelmed with these kind of situations, you don't have enough officers. You can't put enough boots on the ground, so to speak. This is going to happen. You're going to have bad guys who are going to get away with it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, a dozen times in a row.
But would this be more? It seems like to me what he's talking about may be more or less. Less a police staffing problem than judges just don't care about the public. So they let these guys. And if it were the judge's daughter who was knifed,
that's right,
I'll bet the guy wouldn't get out.
Yeah,
I bet the guy wouldn't be turned out again and again and again. If the judge's daughter were a victim of a crime of one of these career criminals, I just can't. It's a head scratcher to me why these big cities in particular don't care. They keep electing the same people who are soft on crime. I just don't really get it. Fred, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think the philosophy that has come to play over the last almost couple of decades in certain jurisdictions is, if we let them go with a slap on the hands, they'll appreciate it and not commit other crimes. But just the opposite has happened. Because I just got a slap on the hands for this time around, I'll go out and do it again, because now my buddies have been doing the same thing, and they just get a slap on the hand and they go steal this, and they hijack cars and all of this sort of thing. So it comes back to a justice system, and I think that started to operate under, if we're just nice to the criminals, they will turn out to be really good people. That's the philosophy that's been in place in the justice system.
I don't understand that.
And the reason you don't, it's not working.
Right.
But they keep doing it.
They keep doing it. What are you going to say?
DeClaros Brown, how do you pronounce his name?
DeCarlos
Brown, 14 times he's been to court for arrest. And he's served 5.
This is the North Carolina
guy, yes.
Yeah, this young lady was
stabbing.
She was a Ukrainian refugee, and she was taking the train in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this homeless guy knifed her to death. I don't know why he did it. I mean, there wouldn't be any good reason to do it. But I don't know what happened. I guess the police are investigating it, but they arrested him. Mm-hmm. And you're saying his rap sheet is what, Wesley?
He has had 14 previous court cases just in that Mecklenburg County that he was in, and then in addition to that, he served 5 years in prison for armed robbery with a dangerous weapon.
Yeah. So I don't know if the justice system, as it were, would say we don't have enough space to house these people. Or what if that would be one of the excuses? If that's the case, I would say you need to build more prisons.
How far a person has to go?
You can't let these people roam the streets.
Right. How far someone has to go to get to the point where they use a weapon to threaten someone to take something from them, that they could get out and have 14 other different arrests? I mean, that's just.
All I can say is that I don't think these judges, these district attorneys, doesn't talk to me like they value life.
That's right. Yeah.
They just don't value human life very much, because I
just wonder what incentive they would get though. If
career criminals roam.
Yeah, but maybe y'all. While I was reading for this, maybe y'all discuss this. But what incentive would a judge get to continue to let them out?
Well, I think that's another problem. judges many times they get elected and they're
they
for
live in
life.
gated communities.
Yeah,
sure.
You're right.
The judges, they're not affected by this.
Well, that's one of the big concerns being raised, is that the communities that are threatened by these individuals come from these communities, and that's why a lot of people. We're going to talk about Chicago. Chicago, the large number of victims are people who are fairly poor. They live in difficult areas, and yet the rich politicians, like the governor of Illinois. I'm going to play you a clip. Trump has talked about, and I don't know legally whether he could do this. Trump says, I want to go to Chicago and apply the D.C. solution to Chicago. But the governor of Illinois, listen to what he has to say about this. Cut number 3.
Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city? Instead, I say, Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
And you hear this from the Democrat, he's Democrat governor. You hear this over and over again. We don't need any help. But the people who live there say, we're scared to go out after 4 o'clock in the afternoon because we'll be hurt or our kids will be hurt. So they don't apparently care about their own constituents. That's the only conclusion you can come to.
Yeah. Well, okay, two separate issues here. One is I think President Trump is trolling, so to speak, these Democrat mayors and governors. He does. The United States federal government has no business, in my opinion, unless you got mass chaos. I'm talking about in the streets where you have to restore order. Then maybe the feds come in with
Chaz.
Yeah, then maybe the president could call in the National Guard, but that would only be for a momentary situation. But just for regular, everyday policing,
Patrolling, you can't do that.
No, President Trump should not do that. National Guardsmen from Arkansas and Montana don't want to go to Chicago and roam the streets. I'm going to tell you that, and that's not the purpose. So I do think he's trolling, so to speak. He's trying to get he's poking this guy, this governor of Illinois. But for the governor of Illinois to suggest that somehow Chicago's Ray is under control, when we read about it all the time, every weekend there's a new. There's a murder.
You asked Tim earlier about the judges. Okay, in a place like Chicago, the machine picks them out. The machine puts them in. And I really mean the Democrat machine, right? It's been that way for generations now.
Right.
I don't know when the last time Chicago had a truly contested Republican-Democrat mayoral.
Right.
It's been a long, long time, right? So the Democrat machine picks out those people, puts them up, protects them, sends the message, you play ball with us and we'll play ball with you. So it's a whole system, Tim, that encourages the judge to look the other way instead of putting people behind bars the way they ought to.
To Ray's point, this is a philosophy, it seems, of the Democratic Party. The DNC is holding a meeting in Minneapolis right now. Maybe you've seen some of the speakers and the wild speeches. But at their meeting in Minneapolis, they heard yesterday from Democratic strategist Insha Roman weighing in when it comes to fighting crime, and this is how she recommends Democrats handle it. Cut number 11.
We are at a moment of incredible opportunity for Democrats to take the upper hand on this issue. Don't be afraid of the crime debate. Lean all the way in. Call out what Trump is doing and say, the reason crime is going down, our communities are becoming safer, is because of us. Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans.
Migrant crime and carjackings really don't matter to Americans. She's a Democratic Party strategist.
That's bad advice. You're better off not saying anything at all than saying the opposite of what's true.
But she felt comfortable saying that to that crowd.
That was bizarre. Yeah, that was bizarre to hear that. Nobody cares about
It's
that.
almost like a skit.
Well, what is she saying? Yeah, like a Saturday Night Live skit. What is she saying exactly there?
She said,
she said lean into something. What was
Well,
it?
she said they're talking about the reports from these Democrat leaders who say crime is going down. Yeah. Look how remember the mayor of D.C. right off the bat when Trump said we're going to go in there with soldiers and deal with it. First thing she said, I don't know why you're here, because crime is going down in this city. Even after people had been murdered 48 hours earlier, that's what she was saying. By the way, there hasn't been a person murdered in D.C. now in 12 or 13 days. Not one.
Right. You're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Next story, Fred.
Well, it's a story we continue to follow, and that is Cracker Barrel. Well, Cracker Barrel has, the CEO has come out and admits we could have done a better job in this transition.
With turnip greens? Or what?
We could have done a better job with
more butter.
The disaster that we have created is basically what they're saying. I was reading something this morning. Cracker Barrel, I think the home base is Lebanon, Tennessee. They started this project of transition that we've been talking about back 10 months ago. Apparently, one of their business gurus, one of their advisors said, this is crazy what you're considering doing, redoing the whole inside and change the whole image, the whole thing. You know, it was very interesting. Charles Payne, who was one of the business gurus there at Fox, he talks about companies who keep doing this kind of thing. Cut number 14.
Honestly, they're so disconnected, and they live in an echo chamber. Well, this is the right thing to do. She's out there saying there's a small minority of folks who are upset about this. And it really, to your point, is amazing that they keep doing this over and over. We've seen the collateral damage long-lasting for Target, Nike, Starbucks. It exists to this day. These companies have not been able to turn around. Even Tractor Supply, which somehow decided to ask a consultant from Boston how to deal with the Midwest customers. And they, remember for a moment, they went DEI completely. But they woke up, one bad day of the stock, and they like, hold up, we're going to invest in 4-H. And, they became a real Midwestern company real quick.
Yeah, he says, he's throwing up his hands saying, why are these companies, especially in Cracker Barrel's case, where they're a highly successful company, and yet you have a CEO comes in, and Carson, we kind of addressed this yesterday, Tim. They have been in the pocket of the LGBTQ crowd now for several years. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah, Ray, what do you think about that? Now, just in essence, Fred, for those who don't know, what is the essence of what Cracker Barrel is announcing that they're doing here?
Well, they're changing their branding. People have heard about the sign. The sign is going away. Uncle Herschel has been thrown out of the sign.
So that was his name, Uncle Herschel?
This is not a fresh paint job. This is an intentional effort to remove anything that they believe to resemble whiteness.
Why?
Because
as a white man, I ask why.
Well, because they have people.
Wait a minute. Hold on just a minute. Hold on.
That was rhetorical.
Yeah, that was rhetorical. So, Wesley, you said somebody said get rid of whiteness.
Yeah, so
that isn't what they said. That Cracker Barrel doesn't say that.
No.
Right?
They just do it.
Ray, do you? But is that what is going on here, Ray?
Tim, it's marketing insanity. The people at the top. Cracker Barrel, once greatly beloved by millions and tens of millions of people, they hate their own customers. That's the only plausible explanation. They hate the people who made them rich and famous.
Yep.
Well, one of these, I don't understand it. Huh?
No.
I don't understand. So poor Uncle
Rationally, no, but ideologically,
yes.
It's the wokeness is what it is.
But poor Uncle Herschel, he's been booted from the sign.
He didn't even get to vote.
That's
what
right.
About his breakfast? His breakfast is staying on the.
Yeah, his breakfast will still be on the menu.
Uncle Herschel,
sure. They put him in his place.
But he and his Cracker Barrel are gone off the logo. Is that right?
That's right.
So sad. We'll be back momentarily.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
One of the great surprises about God which I've learned to look for is His unobtrusiveness. We make all our plans concerning the coming of God, how God is supposed to act in history, what He is supposed to do. Then, when we have it all figured out, how He is supposed to come and act, we find Him doing exactly the opposite. God did this at Bethlehem. Certainly no one expected God to break into history in such a manner as that. A carpenter father, a peasant mother, and a manger for a crib. Everyone knew that God would come in a manner worthy of God, and the whole world would bow down to Him. But He did not, and they did not. God did this again in Joseph's carpentry shop in Nazareth. One who had such an important task as Jesus should surely receive better training than that afforded him at the local synagogue, and more advantages than those of a common carpenter. And because he was only the son of a local carpenter, the people in the synagogue drove him out of town. They knew that no carpenter's son could be the Messiah. If only God would act like God, then we common folk wouldn't have such a hard time recognizing Him. We look for God in the great and powerful, but He comes in the small and humble. I worshiped once at the St. George Anglican Church in Jerusalem. It was a high church, very formal worship service. The music was beyond reach of the common person. The minister spoke above my level of comprehension. In general, it was a situation devoid of the things we generally associate with a warm service. But as I sat in that pew, a group of children passed by on the way to their seat. It was a group of half-blind children leading those who were totally blind to a seat where they could worship God. And I felt the greatness and grandeur of God when those children walked by. We look for God in the great and mighty, and He comes in the love of poor, blind children. Truly the prophet was right when he wrote, "Your ways are not my ways, neither are your thoughts my thoughts." What is it about God which captivates us? It is He who was able to call legions of armies to His aid, chose instead to enter Jerusalem as a penniless prophet riding on the back of a donkey. He did not come on a great white stallion with sword in hand and fist doubled, ready to strike the first one who stepped in His path. But He came as a preacher of peace, with no uniform but the seamless robe of a peasant, and no power over men, except the power given Him in each individual heart. This is one of the great surprises of God, His unobtrusiveness. Look for Him, if you wish, in the big and the high and the mighty and the great. But if you want to find Him, then you must search for Him in the least and the last and the lost.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildman, a production of the American Family Association.
A bruised reed He will not break, and a smoldering wick He will not extinguish. He will faithfully bring forth justice. He will not grow weak or discouraged before He has established justice on the earth. In His law the islands will put their hope. Isaiah 42, 3 and 4.
American Family Radio. This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Welcome back to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. We were talking about the new marketing moves made by the Cracker Barrel company. Now, when will Uncle Herschel, I know I passed by our local Cracker Barrel here last night, and Uncle Herschel's still up there on the sign.
Well, I passed a billboard the other day for Cracker Barrel, and he was gone.
He's gone.
They've already done it here in Tupelo?
Yeah, on a billboard.
No, on a billboard.
Oh, billboard. Okay, got you.
But not.
I'm holding out. I'm holding out that the local one will rebel.
I don't think you. When you're a corporation, I don't think your affiliates can rebel unless you're franchised owned, and even then there's contracts here. But anyway,
but the change has gone all the way down to the table peg game. Have you guys heard that?
No.
Yeah, you hadn't heard about this, Ray?
No, I've not.
I heard something about this. I stopped
Cover
reading.
your ears, Ray. Cover your ears.
War
all right,
now, baby.
we all know if you go in Cracker Barrel, you kill time till the biscuits get there.
That's right.
By playing the peg game. Am I right?
That's great.
And they got great biscuits, by the way, if they're right out of the oven.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. What do you got the peg game?
Well, the peg game is, and they poke fun at people. Leave only one, you're a genius. Leave two, and you're pretty smart. P-U-R-T-Y.
Yeah.
Leave three, and you're just plain dumb. Leave four, and then goes on ignoramus.
You're ignoramus.
Ignoramus.
Okay,
yes.
it's a play. Obviously, it's play on word. Okay, so that's what it's always said. You're saying?
Yes.
And so we're making a change.
Yes, we're making a change.
Okay.
Now peg games say, if you leave three or more, don't be embarrassed. Try again.
We have got the everybody gets a trophy mentality. Enter the peg game at Cracker Barrel.
Go broke. Oh, brother.
That's how we're going to get softer and softer with this stuff.
Just wrong. This is wrong, people.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Now,
we'll see what happens with the Cracker Barrel Company.
During the break, you also mentioned that in some locations we're going to get rainbow rocking chairs.
That's already happened during Pride Month at some locations.
Where you're not
That's
serious?
my
I didn't know
head
about
beating
this.
against the desk.
Yes.
Somebody call Uncle Herschel. Does he even know about this?
Rainbow rockers.
No.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Well, remember, it was about a few years ago. They Phil Robertson from the Duck Dynasty made a comment that was critical of the homosexual agenda, or something what the Bible said about sexuality, and Cracker Barrel threatened to take all the Duck Dynasty stuff that they had at the time out of his book or whatever by his, I mean, Phil Robertson's book out. And within 24 hours, the backlash they received was they reversed course within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network.
That's all I can take of that. We got to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on. Pass the biscuits.
That's right.
Let's move on here. So we've got a movie coming out that you want to take your family to see, and it's called Light of the World. And it's a movie about the life of an animated movie about Jesus and the Bible. And joining us to talk about it is one of the film's producers, T. Ray Grandstaff of Northwest Arkansas. And T. Ray has become a new friend of mine. Good morning, T. Ray.
Hey, good morning, Tim. How are you today? Great to be on your show.
I'm doing well, Nate. You tell folks where you live and what you do.
Yeah, I live in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I work for an organization called Salvation Poem as a studio executive, and I work with donors. We're taking a unique approach to this film that I think your audience would be really excited to hear about. It's a nonprofit film that opens in theaters September 5th.
Now, you were with the I'm gonna get fired. I can't do better than that.
You were.
Huh?
You were with.
You were. Thank you. You're not one to ask, my friend.
No, I'm not.
Let me just tell you.
That's why I took.
You may be my son, but
that is exactly why I took the opportunity. Because
proper English is
I won't have
not
another
your forte. Okay. You have
worse.
a good heart.
You
have a good heart.
It's way worse than what you just described. I appreciate that.
Okay, so you were with T. Ray. You were with Fellowship of Christian Athletes for a long time, weren't you?
Yes, and I still help out with FCA in the River Valley, Arkansas, but the majority of my focus is on this upcoming film called Light of the World. It's a unique film, Tim. You've seen it, and
Yes.
It shows what faith looks like lived out through the eyes of Jesus's youngest disciple, John. So it's a unique approach to telling the timeless story and principles of Jesus, but seen through the eyes of his youngest disciple, John. It's 2D animated, which is hand-drawn. So I know you guys are like me. When you think back to Lion King and Prince of Egypt, you think that was really the top of the pinnacle when it came to filmmaking, especially animation. And so some of the same filmmakers that made some of Disney greats have a heart for the Lord and have partnered with us on this film called Light of the World.
When will it be in theaters?
It's coming up. We're really close. September 5th, it opens in theaters nationwide, over 2,000 theaters. And so you can actually go and purchase tickets ahead of time at lightoftheworld.com. And we have some special offers that people will be really excited to be able to participate in. Plus, so many people want to curse the darkness. But here's an opportunity to hold up the light of the world, which we know is Jesus. And so as you experience this film, this is going to be something you're going to want to take your grandkids to, your kids, your neighbors, because it clearly presents the teachings of Jesus, his life, his death, his burial, his resurrection, and then the encouragement to go share Jesus with the world. What's exciting is he called himself light of the world, but then he also said, you are light of the world. So what a great tool in the next couple of weeks to be able to engage, be reminded of the teachings of Jesus, but also use this as a tool to share with your neighbors and your friends.
We're talking to T. Ray Grandstaff. He's film producer of an animated movie about the life of Jesus called Light of the World. I've seen it. I saw it about a month or 6 weeks ago, and it's excellent. I highly recommend it. And what T. Ray is saying is that it's going nationwide on September the 5th, and you can pre-purchase your tickets to it. I know that with movies, the first weekend is big, T. Ray, because you want to fill up the theaters so that the theaters hold the movie again for a second week and a third week and that kind of thing. So you're saying September 5th? September 5th is a big, and that week is that a week? Is that September 5th? Is that a Friday? When is that?
Yes, it's Friday, September 5th. But that opening weekend, we love sports. I know you do, Tim. Having been involved in the industry as a writer.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about, we're coming up on football season. You can lose the first game of the year, but still win the national championship.
Yes.
And even in basketball, you don't even have to win the conference, but get into the tournament, start playing your best. But in the film industry, opening weekend is everything. That's why I want to encourage the people of faith that love Jesus. This is your chance. This is your chance to make a statement to others that faith is important. And I think they'll be really, really pleased with what we've been able to put together. We've got a talented team with Brandon McPherson. We've got Matt McPherson and the Bancroft brothers and John Schaefer directing the film. And these guys, one was the senior producer for Superbook. Another was the director of Mulan and Mary Poppins Returns, Space Jam, A New Legacy. And one was a key factor in Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. So this is top-rated, top-shelf faith into action and love into motion. And I want to encourage people to get out opening weekend. Buy your tickets now. You'll be glad that you did. And it helps us to be able to share that Jesus is not only the only way, but he's the light of the world.
The movie title is Light of the World, and it's out September 5th. Again, how can people, what website do people need to go to find out about coming to their town, that kind of thing?
They can go to lightoftheworld.com. It'll be in 2,000 theaters nationwide, so it'll be close to you. But I want to encourage you, share your faith. It's time to stand up and be counted for Jesus. And it's good not to be ashamed of the gospel, and it's good to put that faith into motion. And here's an opportunity. Now, what's unique is we're doing this as a nonprofit. So all of the revenue that comes in from streaming and from theatrical, we're going to roll into translating it into 140 languages over a 5-year period, giving it away to churches and ministries free of charge with the hopes of 1 billion people hearing the gospel of Jesus. And we're saying, hey, we need your help. Would you help us? Would you go now to lightoftheworld.com, purchase your tickets, and let's make a statement that Jesus is Lord and share him with the world.
You wanted to kind of have the impact of the Jesus film. Wasn't that the name of it? The Campus Crusade for Christ?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it really is. And I was thinking about that this morning, Tim. I don't know if you have cameras in my house and you're watching me, but that's what I was thinking about and reading about the Jesus film. 45 years ago, Bill Bright and some others got together, and they decided to make a film about Jesus. And it cost approximately $5 to $6 million, and Bunker Hunt, a great philanthropist, underwrote the film. And now, 45 years later, over 5 billion people have seen portions of the Jesus film. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Now, I have a friend, a wise friend. He said, I just want a fraction of the action of what God is doing. Well, here is our chance for our generation to stand up and say, this is the teachings of Jesus. This is what I believe. And come join me as we celebrate Light of the World.
So go to lightoftheworld.com. You said 2,500 theaters on September 5th?
2,000 theaters, that's right.
That's amazing. That's, sure everybody can find a theater near them with 2,000 across the country. September the 5th, the movie comes out, Light of the World. Thank you, T. Ray, and I'll be getting back with you in the next day or so about being on some other programs here on American Family Radio to get the word out.
Honored. Thank you so much for what you guys do. We love you and appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's T. Ray Grandstaff joining us from Fort Smith, Arkansas. You're listening. Had you heard about this movie yet, Ray?
I had not, but while T. Ray was talking, I just brought up Light of the World website on my cell phone. Wanted to see what they've got, and tremendous website. I even watched the trailer while he was talking, so get a real good view of the animation. And, well, I'm here in Kansas City, and one of the theaters is about, I don't know, maybe a 4 or 5 minute drive from where Marlene and I live. And I can tell you, we're going to go watch this. They're covering the Kansas City area. So let me just say, Tim, I had no idea, didn't know anything about it, but the trailer is excellent. And, it's gonna grab hearts if we can get people in to see this movie. People are going to meet Jesus in a brand new way.
Amen. It's animated. But he was saying that the people behind the animation were like top animators in Hollywood. I mean, who are believers. So but they're giving their talents for this particular movie. Light of the World. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Fred, what's the next story?
Well, across the country, a new school year is, in some places, already started, and right after Labor Day in some other locations, a new school will be underway. And, throughout the year, American Family News, we do a lot of stories about Christians in the school system being challenged about their beliefs and what they can do and what they can say and can't say and all that sort of thing. A story we've covered just in recent days involves a New York State high school student. At some high schools, they allow the senior students to decorate their parking spots.
Yeah.
Now, this was a student, a Christian young lady, who decided her parking spot, she wanted a Christian verse, a biblical verse in hers. School said, no, you can't do it, but it does have a happy ending. Here's the young lady, Sabrina Steffens, cut number 6.
So the first design that I created was a picture of this place called Salvation Mountain, which was very religious. It had a Bible verse, it had crosses. It's the one that's on the picture, and they denied that completely. And then there was a second design that just had a Bible verse on it with the Bible verse reference that they turned down as well.
Yeah, and what
Because there's a lot of damage that can happen to people. If there's a Bible verse in a parking spot, a lot of harm.
Like the Ten Commandments.
Like
yeah. But anyway, they got a lawyer. And this is so important, folks, when you face these things in school and you believe that your rights are being impacted by it and that other people can do things and say things, but because you're a Christian, you can't. You may want to talk to lawyers with great organizations out there like First Liberty Institute. Keisha Russell was interviewed about this, about Christian student rights you have in public schools. Cut number 8.
Well, it fails because the Constitution doubly protects religious speech under the Free Speech Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. The Supreme Court reiterated that truth back in the Kennedy versus Bremerton case a couple of years ago. That was a football coach who was fired for praying on the football field. But we have a lot of work to do in our public schools right now. We're so grateful for this win for Sabrina, but there's a lot of work to be done. We have public schools right now that are very hostile to religion. Well, if they don't know the law, they're supposed to, right? We are not supposed to be educating the educators. They're supposed to be educating us. But unfortunately, they don't know the law and what the Constitution requires for students and teachers. So First Liberty is here to make sure that that happens.
First Liberty, those are our friends, and they're based out of the DFW area. But Kelly Shackelford and his team there, they do a great job in defending religious liberty, especially for Christians around the country. Where was this? Where did this take place?
This was in New York State.
Okay. So this young lady, this is fairly new, this painting your own parking spot, isn't it? I mean, I've never heard.
It's decorating.
Maybe the last few years.
I would imagine because we didn't have anything like that. We decorated the art. We had a shirt. Or a sweater.
Senior sweater, yeah. But
everybody's free to do it, though.
Right. So the school announced that all the seniors at this school in the state of New York, all the seniors would be allowed to paint their parking spot.
Yeah.
And they pay a fee, I don't know, $50 or whatever like that. And it's a senior privilege. So you could put anything you want there on there, I guess, as long as it's not vulgar. And so she decided to put a Bible verse with Salvation Mountain, and the school said that's absolutely, we can't have that. I think a lot of these schools are under the false impression, Ray, that you can't have any kind of religious acknowledgement at all, or it violates the First Amendment. I don't know exactly where they get that idea. It's kind of an ACLU type idea, but you can't discriminate against Christians or Jews or anybody else from decorating their
Would they have dared to do it for a Muslim student who wanted to make some statement about Islam? They would not have dared to do that.
No, you could put anything you wanted to on there, I would suspect, but they thought, well, you can't put a religious message. No, you can't put a distinctively Christian
message, right.
in the Bible.
Yes.
But the good news is, as Fred said, this young lady went to court and she won.
Yes, absolutely. They backed down right away because they knew they would lose.
Right.
Because there are precedent cases out there.
Right.
And many times, all it takes is a conversation with the leaders at the school to say, hey, are you aware of the Supreme Court decision?
Right.
Like this young lady referenced in Bremerton, Washington, the coach out there.
Yeah, what was the coach's name?
Kennedy,
yes.
Yes.
We followed his case, had him on our radio.
That went on 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. All he was doing was praying after a game.
By himself
at the field.
Yes.
After the game was over, and after the kids had been released from the locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was compelled or forced to go. And was the ACLU, the Freedom from Religion group, somebody went after him, and the school fired him. Remember that? He won. He won his court case, though.
That's right. He did.
All right, you're listening to today's issue. So you can win.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and we're glad that we have Christian legal groups that help people and don't charge them money to do so, but do it for the cause. Go ahead.
And I think we need to be praying this school year as it starts, and it's already started in California, praying for our young ladies, our daughters, and our sisters out there who play on sports, and they're continuing to face this problem of the other team having a guy on there.
In the blue states.
In the blue states. California already, girls volleyball teams, several cases now where the girls' teams have forfeited their games because they don't want to play against a dude who's on the other side of that net. And they're afraid, and this has happened, we're not exaggerating here, where the dude spikes the ball. Remember the young lady?
Yeah.
She was seriously injured.
Head injury.
Had a head injury.
Wasn't able to finish the season.
Yes. So this is happening out there, and this is another one of those battlefronts that the fight has to continue for these kids.
Yeah, and this is in California. I've seen this. They do in California. They do allow males to dress up like girls and play on sports teams.
Yes.
And call them, pretend like they're girls.
Yep.
It's but that's anyway. That is in California. That is going on in California.
And Governor Youngkin in Virginia is fighting some school districts there again. Guess what county? Loudoun County, because they're trying to fight the standards that he's putting out there that there cannot be guys and girls changing rooms.
Right.
This is going on also.
That's part of being on a sports team. Is you have you have locker rooms and showers and things that that the whole team utilizes.
Yes. And sometimes it happens the other way. Some 3 guys, I think it was a Loudoun County high school, they got upset because a girl came in who claimed to be a guy.
Yeah.
So
this is very simple.
It should be.
It should be a conversation of few words.
Yeah, it's very simple. If you're a male, you can call yourself a girl.
Knock yourself out.
You call yourself a girl all day, every day, but you're not going to be treated like something that you're not.
Biologically not.
In our school, we have to have separation. We got men's restrooms, we got women's restrooms. We got men's showers, we got girls' showers. We got men's locker rooms, we got boys' sports teams, we got girls' sports teams. You have to go with what you were born with.
Yep.
Huh? Yep. So that's an easy call. I don't understand why these schools make it hard.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
And also, it is unfair to the young ladies.
Yes.
Completely unfair to the young ladies. And this is often done by people who say they champion ladies'
rights.
They're feminist.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not. Not if you're making girls play against boys. You're not. You're creating an unequal competition, and so you're harming the girls.
Yes.
So anyway,
it's one of those incidents in the last election last year that the Republicans won on.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people. They got a lot of people who normally vote.
Yeah, it's
Democrat.
a loser for Democrats. But some of the Democrats a few of them are speaking out with common sense here.
Yeah. But the party as a whole is still holding to this.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
This idea that guys should be allowed to play on girls' teams.
Well, they're all in for the transgendered.
Well, the contrast there of damages of the lady or the young lady high school student that wants to put a Bible verse in her parking spot, but yet I know there's 2 different locations, 2 different school districts, but just the worldview contrast between the Bible verse and the parking area versus a girl going in a men's locker room.
Yeah. All right. I feel sorry for our brothers and sisters who have to live in blue states.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The word have to.
Who have to live in blue states and suffer this kind of insanity. From soft on crime to letting boys play girls sports. It's the goofy left that's in control of many of these blue states, unfortunately. We'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
American Family Radio has always been portable, but thanks to technology, AFR apps have redefined our portability. Whether you prefer Apple or Android, we've got you covered on your phone or tablet. We're also available on Roku. And of course, you can get Alexa to play us on your smart device. Take us with you across town or across the country. Visit afr.net or your app store today.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President Trump calling Washington, D.C. the safest city in America. The nation's capital has seen more than 1,000 arrests since his takeover began, with a nearly 2-week stretch without a homicide. Grady Seralta is the director of the U.S. Marshals in D.C. and says his job is far from over.
Is it surprising to you that all this crime is happening just steps away from our nation's capital?
Yeah, it was very surprising. And that's the reason why President Trump has declared this public safety emergency. Mm-hmm. This is the capital of a nation, right? Of the best nation in the world, mm-hmm. the strongest nation in the world, the mm-hmm. freest nation in the world. Yet we can't walk the streets without getting mugged, raped, and robbed. And that should not be that way.
During a sweep of the streets last night, authorities arrested this man on a warrant for carjacking. But as they took him into custody, he told investigators he wasn't worried.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and who never shows up. I done been over DC jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. DC jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time.
And President Trump is threatening to deploy the National Guard to Chicago and Baltimore, which would expand his crime crackdown outside Washington. White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy Stephen Miller with a message from mayors of Democrat-led cities.
What you are doing to your own citizens is evil. Subjecting your own citizens to this constant bloodbath and then rejoicing in it is evil. Residents were afraid to go to restaurants. They were afraid to go into entire neighborhoods. They were getting carjacked right and left, robbed and beaten. That was Washington, D.C. Now we're 2 weeks homicide free.
Cracker Barrel has suffered a $143 million loss in market value since its decision to rebrand its stores in an effort to be woke. Cracker Barrel CEO announced they were changing the iconic logo and changing the restaurant's decor. That move has ignited fierce backlash. Charles Payne of the Fox Business Network says many companies have gone woke only to find out it was a huge mistake.
Honestly, they're so disconnected, and they live in an echo chamber. Well, this is the right thing to do. She's out there saying there's a small minority of folks who are upset about this. And it really, to your point, is amazing that they keep doing this over and over. We've seen the collateral damage long-lasting for Target, Nike, Starbucks. It exists to this day. These companies have not been able to turn around. Even Tractor Supply, which somehow decided to ask a consultant from Boston how to deal with the Midwest customers. And they remember for a moment they went DEI completely. But they woke up, one bad day in the stock, and they're like, hold up, we're going to invest in 4-H.
And finally, Oklahoma announced it will begin screening teachers who try to transfer into the state from California or New York.
The purpose of this is to test the ideology of these teachers, according to Oklahoma Superintendent Ryan Walters. He explained why in a recent interview with AFN.
What we've seen is Gavin Newsom pushing the most radical Marxist agenda that the country's ever seen in the classrooms of California schools, and we're not going to tolerate that woke agenda in Oklahoma.
He talked about Newsom's actions over the summer months.
As we saw him mandating radical gender theory into the classrooms of California, we said, listen, any teachers that come here from California, we're going to make sure you're going to teach to Oklahoma standards, our academics in history and biology, so we have a test for you.
Walter said his team worked with Prager University to develop this test.
Prager, you did a great job of helping us develop a test, and guess what? You're going to have to know what a female is, what a male is, the biological differences, because guess what? We actually teach based on the facts in our biology in our classes here in Oklahoma. We also teach real American history. We want our kids to be patriotic. We want our kids to love this country.
Walter said they're going to test to make sure aspiring transferring teachers understand things like the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. According to KOCO News in Oklahoma, the PragerU administered test includes questions about the chambers of Congress, identifying U.S. senators, and reciting the first 3 words of the Constitution. There also is a question about gender, requiring teachers to identify chromosome pairs determining sex. I'm Bronson Woodruff.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty P.
At Wesley Biblical Seminary, we believe God is raising up a movement across our nation and around the world who hold fast to the inerrancy of Scripture and the hope of holiness. We do this through bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees, certificate programs, and even training for lay people. So whatever your next step is in being equipped for ministry, we're here for you. And if you believe these are the kind of pastors we need leading churches in the future, we invite you to think about giving to Wesley Biblical Seminary. Learn more about us at wbs.edu.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Wesley, and Ray, raised in Kansas City. We're in Tupelo, and now Parrish Alford is in studio with us. Good morning, Parrish.
Tim, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Glad to be here.
So if I can talk about this, you and either your son or a friend, y'all have an annual tradition of going out somewhere across America and visiting a college football stadium you haven't been to, right?
It's a relatively new tradition. It's a friend here in Tupelo that I travel with, and the goal, at least for me, is to hit venues that are not in the Southeastern Conference.
But you've been to all those?
Because I've seen all those.
You've seen all those. You served. How many years did you?
29 at the Daily Journal.
At the Daily Journal, which is the local newspaper here, and you went to all the Southeastern Conference venues.
Several times.
Multiple times.
I was blessed, Tim, to do a very long career, do the only thing I ever really wanted to do. So.
Yeah.
Till I came here.
Yeah. So tell me the places outside of the SEC that you've traveled to already.
It's just 3, and because it started when I started here at American Family News, and so in 2023, that fall, David Farrell, my friend, and I went to University of Oklahoma, went to Norman.
Okay.
Which is now in the SEC, but I needed to check that box.
At the time, they were
right.
They weren't.
They were still in the Big 12, so we've been to Oklahoma. We went last year to Clemson, and we're going in a few weeks to Notre Dame. And we'll
going to Notre Dame.
Yes, we'll fulfill a lifelong
touchdown Jesus.
Yeah, we'll fulfill a lifelong ambition to see Purdue football live. So,
Purdue. It's Purdue.
It's Notre Dame and Purdue.
Okay, well you just dissed Purdue right there, and we have a lot of Purdue listeners out there. So I'll tell them to send you an email. Okay. No, I'm just Purdue at Notre Dame, right?
Purdue at Notre Dame.
Purdue is more known for their basketball prowess.
Yes,
not their football prowess. Well, that's a cool trip to South Bend, and
except for Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, the graduate of Purdue. So you went to Death Valley. You went to Clemson.
No, I went to Clemson, Tim. Death Valley, that's in Baton Rouge.
You're from Baton Rouge area. Okay, because both schools claim to be Death Valley.
Yes, they both claim that.
And we're going to find out Saturday night.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Because LSU is playing
Clemson.
Clemson. And it's not Clemson.
That's right.
It's Clemson.
Well, and it's
you
funny.
said with a P.
It was funny, Tim, to read these message boards through the years.
Yeah.
And you're keeping up with different things, and you see how one fan base antagonizes another fan base, and they come up with their pet names.
Right.
And so the name from South Carolina fans for Clemson, which made me chuckle, was Clem and Son.
Well, Ray, the Clemson and Marvin Sanders taught me this. It's Clemson, right?
It's got
It sounds like it's got a P in there.
Like it should have a P.
Yeah. So that the Clemson and LSU both are the Tigers, and they both play at Death Valley. That's what they claim their stadiums to be. So that's Saturday night.
Parrish, who is favored in the big game Saturday night? Clemson or LSU?
You know, I think, and I haven't looked at it that closely, but I think LSU was favored by a little bit in that game.
Yeah.
I think it will be, I think, a wonderful atmosphere. We really enjoyed our trip to Clemson last year, and it just happened that it was the weekend that the hurricane had gone up through the Carolinas. And so we got there with a lot of, in most places of the city, electricity out and red lights not working and things like that. But we had the tickets and we debated and we went ahead and, they were going to play, so we went ahead and made the trip.
But football was more important to y'all than maybe the human suffering that was taking place in other places.
Oh, look, there's the other side of looking at that, Tim, is, and I've seen it this way for many years, is the people who are suffering need that release.
Yeah, I know.
They need something.
Tell yourself that.
Yeah. And we did. And
listen, between
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Listen, I'm just kidding. All right.
Hey,
what's your first news story?
Hold on. Between talking football and popcorn, all we need is Rotel.
Okay.
So I'm eating
Go
popcorn.
out there in the hall, see if somebody's cooking up some Rotel for you there.
That's right.
Go ahead, Parrish. First story.
Tim, this dust storm passed through the Phoenix area, Arizona, and it lasted for about 15 minutes, and it was very intense. And reports say that people could not see a hand in front of the face. Just really intense dust storm, kind of like you see in the movies.
Yeah, did you see this, Ray? Yesterday.
I did. Stunning. Some of those pictures. It looked like something out of a Hollywood apocalyptic feature film, but it's the real deal.
Yeah, it lasted about 15 minutes. And I just think of, there's nothing that doesn't get impacted when that goes through. I just think of dust going into people's homes through the ventilation system.
Yeah, how does that?
I assume that's a thing.
Yeah, well, I saw it. If you haven't seen it, you need to go type it in and watch it, folks. It's incredible. Now, if you experienced it, you don't want to experience it again. But it's like Ray said, it's a big wall of dust that looks like it's clouds, and it's just rolling into the Phoenix area, and just.
Okay, Tim, you know how you see when volcanoes erupt, and then the clouds come in,
right?
That's exactly what it looked like. It was terrifying.
Yeah, a dust storm.
Knocked out power at the airport.
I've been in one dust storm before, but we were in Israel when it happened. They had a dust storm come in from the Sahara, over in Africa. And so it's like you think it is. It just leaves a coat of dust, thick dust on everything. And you're right. I don't know how it doesn't get into the air conditioning vents and everything like that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I've not been through one, thankfully.
The discussion doesn't do it justice. You really do need to go.
Yeah,
Google
watch it. Watch it. It looks like you would think the world is ending if you're sitting there watching that coming at you.
Like a movie.
Yeah.
It sounds like a diss on the discussion, though, like we're not doing a good job.
Of what there?
Of describing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're doing all we can verbally to describe it. But all right, next story.
Okay, next story. There's been a lot of talk about tariffs when they first came out, a lot of concern, but the Congressional Budget Office says that Trump is bringing in enough revenue from tariffs to cut U.S. deficits by $4 trillion over the next decade. $4 trillion.
Well,
a trillion here, a trillion there.
That's right. Well,
real money.
The main thing, the biggest story here for me is 2 months ago, tariffs were going to end Trump. The tariffs were going to be so bad on the economy that we would forget all the good that Trump did. That's how bad it was supposed to be. And then here we are 2 months into it, and we're we, meaning the United States through Trump and his administration, is negotiating all these deals with all these different countries, building more and more relationships, and there's a possibility here that you can cut the deficit, much less neutral. Cutting it's even better. Obviously, we got a long ways to go, and it's a lot bigger. The deficit's a lot bigger story than this, but the fact is we are making progress through tariffs.
Well, the shocking part of it is the amount of money, Ray, that the United States is taking in right now. This is from the Congressional Budget Office. Is that right, Parrish?
Yes.
CBO, which is supposed to be nonpartisan, and they're just saying that Trump's tariffs are bringing in trillions of dollars to the U.S. coffers.
The report found that increased tariffs have raised tariff rates by about 18 percentage points compared to last year. So about 18% up on the rates. If these rates remain, deficits would shrink by $3.3 trillion, and interest payments would fall by another $700 billion.
Any thoughts on this, Ray?
Well, it's a stunning reversal from what we heard,
right?
As Wesley said a couple of months ago, and I think it's a tremendous tribute to Donald Trump, his courage, his perseverance. You know, he gets criticized for so many different things, but here's a case where he stood by it. The tariffs are working, and suddenly the national deficit is going to go down. And what did we say? $4 trillion. That's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good money over 10 years. And hey, I'm glad to hear it.
Yep, Parrish, you're an economist, right?
No, but I play one on TV.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to break that down other than what the CBO said. They said that Trump's tariffs are bringing in trillions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
It's going to help offset the deficit.
It sounds really good to me.
Right.
And I know when it was rolled out, there were lots of concerns.
Right.
And
now we don't know exactly how much of that is coming from U.S. citizens who are having to pay more for items that have been tariffed. We don't know how to factor all that in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
Tim. But, when I go to Walmart,
right,
and I feel like if that cost is being passed on, I don't feel it. I don't sense it. I don't know it.
Right, right.
But a headline like this makes me go, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is working.
Yeah. So you're easily
manipulated.
I
think so.
I think that's a confession I think we all can appreciate.
You know, if you were going to do something like this, now's the time because
Do what?
The tariffs. That's what we're talking about.
Tariffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason now's the time if you're going to do the tariffs, the reason is because Biden and his administration and his efforts destroyed the economy and inflation skyrocketed. Things were so bad that we couldn't possibly complain about a little more or a little less. I mean, because it's so bad that to Parrish's point, if there is any rollover to the consumer, I haven't noticed it. It's just all bad as far as living costs increase. It's been bad for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rates and living it hasn't gone down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was worth a shot and it worked. So
yeah. Next story.
All right. The city of San Diego, California, is suing a number of residents and businesses and victims over 2024 flooding, saying that these residents, through development on their property, caused the flooding, or at least caused it or played a part in it increasing. So.
Well, I really don't care.
Okay.
Next one. Give me the next story.
I like anything that starts out with Florida man.
Yeah. Okay, Florida man story.
Okay. Florida man arrested after trying to retrieve a drug drone from the home where it crashed. So he launched this drone with drugs, trying to make a delivery.
He's on drugs?
Not on these drugs. He wasn't on these because he was trying
All
to
right, start over again. I was
distracted. This guy's a drug dealer?
Yeah, drug dealer.
By the way, at any point y'all need my help.
It's a transaction. Got a transaction taking place here, okay?
Okay.
This man's trying to deliver his product.
Okay.
A Florida man.
Florida man.
Yeah.
Florida man.
So he loads up his product in a drone.
Okay, got you.
He's going to deliver it.
Be a drone.
Yeah. Could everybody see
Are these
this?
legal or illegal drugs we got going out?
Very illegal.
Yeah.
Very illegal?
Yes.
Okay, Florida man has very illegal drugs. I'm following you. He's going to send his drone out to deliver. Okay, go ahead.
On a drone, and the drone crashed.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All of that hard work.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, all that hard. Drone crashed, and he tried to retrieve it.
Oh, wow.
You know, you can see that. Put a lot of effort into something.
Sure.
Protect your investment.
The drones aren't cheap. You got to sell a lot of drugs.
That's right. A lot of money, a lot of effort. So he goes to the house where it crashed and knocked on the door. But, you know, as fortune would have it, the homeowners had already called the police.
Oh, because they recognized that the drone had a drug. How does it? Let me ask you this question. I've yet to see drones that carry stuff. Am I missing it?
You are.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Wesley, and then Ray.
They have drones that are big enough to carry hundreds of gallons of Roundup to spray fields. So they have drones. So when you think of drones, you're most likely thinking of the drones of 5 years ago that are your
grandson gets out and controls and flies over the backyard.
Yeah, like a little airplane type thing. No, they have drones the size of this room.
Okay, and but you have to register those with the FAA and get clearance to probably.
Well, yeah, and they're hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars. The ones that are this size right here.
But if you're hauling illegal drugs, you're probably not calling to get clearance from the local.
Well, and I'm not an expert here. I know people that have drones. I know we have AFS, American Family Studios. They have a drone they use for filming, and there are there's certain heights in certain locations, both heights and locations, that they have to get certified or permission for. Also, the size of which one it is. Is it one that has a camera on it? Is it one that just flies? Is it one you got from Walmart, or is it one? So there's different kinds of drones. This one's going to be a little bit more sophisticated if it can carry drugs.
Ray, have you seen these drones?
Look, Amazon has been experimenting with using drones to make deliveries, right? And restaurants like pizza parlors have been experimenting with drones to deliver pizza, which is kind of freaky, you know.
Right.
And then, and they I don't know.
Flying around?
Yes. And it drops
Have
right
your pizza
down.
flying around?
Do you have to tip the drone?
Oh, that's good.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to leave the pizza if you don't.
Right. He'll just stand there and drone at you.
He'll just stand there and drone at you till he gets his tip.
So the people called the police and the guy got busted, got arrested?
They did. And he was 49-year-old Florida man, 15-time convicted felon.
We've talked about
Let's just
Jason
spraying a
Brooks.
crop out here, Dad.
Yeah. That's in a red state. Maybe he got convicted in a blue state. What'd you say?
Fertilizing crop right there.
Oh, I'm watching that. Yeah, Wesley's showing me a picture of a drone doing what do we call those planes that fly? Crop dusters?
Yeah,
What crop dusters normally have done, but this is a drone doing it. That's interesting.
Now, when the drones came out, Tim, I really wanted to, thought it'd be good to buy one to fly over the game I was covering. But whether Mississippi State or Ole Miss, I just envisioned it getting shot down and creating an incident. But I thought that would be pretty neat to have one with a camera on it. And
yeah, well, they probably have drones now that do that.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
So anyway, at Auburn they have an eagle that does that for you.
And
you know this what I'm talking about?
For a long time, yes, I've seen that. Very, very.
At
very
Auburn
good show.
games, you seen this, Ray?
I have not.
At Auburn football games, they release an eagle that flies out over the stadium.
Okay, and he's got a camera?
He's not a drone. He's a real eagle.
Yeah, I don't know that he has a camera. Now, he may, but that is a long tradition there at Auburn, and it's really neat to see.
Yeah. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio, where we've had one Florida man story. So you don't have any more Florida man stories?
I got a story for everyone.
You got it?
I was there, and you can YouTube this.
Right. Okay.
I was there in Auburn football stadium. And this may have happened more than once, but I know it happened once because I was there when the eagle flew into the glass window. You can look this up and hit the glass like the skybox, and then flew and fell down. And that was the same. I think that was the same year that Cam Newton they won the national title. So,
Well, it's not talked about much, but that Auburn Eagle has a drinking problem.
That's right. That's what it was.
But we all
have our own.
We all have our
We
weaknesses,
have our
and
own.
I don't want to make fun of Auburn fans
Yeah.
because they got a drunk eagle.
but
it happens.
That's it.
You know.
I was in the stadium when that happened. Yeah, I was
when
in
the eagle ran into the glass.
Yeah, we were kind of hanging out watching the game. They let the Warrior go. Even as a fan, to experience another team's tradition.
Tradition's
pretty
fun.
good.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
my experience was them releasing the eagle. Everybody's celebrating. It makes one loop around the stadium and then collides into the press box and then starts falling down.
I'll tell you, I covered many games at Auburn. I've never seen that. They've always been able to execute that flawlessly. The eagle. I've seen other people crash into the glass. But I've never seen that. Never seen the eagle do that.
Yeah.
So that's
humans do drink at college football games. I know. I can attest.
Yeah,
to
some
that.
humans.
Not me
It happens
firsthand,
from
but
time to time.
yeah. All right, we got time for about a few more stories.
All right,
here.
Daily
Maybe
Mail,
one or two.
Tim, from the Daily Mail.
Okay.
A 10-year-old boy found a big diamond ring in the parking lot of Costco in Manchester, Missouri, about 20 miles outside of St. Louis. You know what he did with it?
They sold it. Pawned it.
This is a renew your faith in humanity story.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
This
what
is a
happened?
good counter to the drug drone story.
Yes, it is.
You know.
So this is a real story. Happened yesterday, or was reported yesterday. Maybe happened earlier. You have a 10-year-old boy in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Costco and he sees something shiny on the ground, right?
Yes.
In the parking lot.
Mhm.
Picks it up, and what happens then?
Well, he didn't put it in his bag of marbles like I probably would have at 10 years old. Okay. He said, "Mom, look at this." And, of course, his mother identified it and knew that someone was really distraught to have lost it. And they walked back into the Costco, and a lady had already called and said, "Hey, I'm missing this. I've lost this ring. Do you know anything about it?" And, they all got together, and I know this is radio and you can't see it, but there are a lot of pictures about ladies smiling and a good ending, and the diamond ring was returned to the owner.
Yeah, that is. Did you hear about this story, Ray?
Yeah, I read about it, and I thought to myself, I mean, how many people, if they found a diamond ring on their way into Costco, would do what that little boy did because his mom said, you got to do it. And good for him and good for her. This is a truly happy ending kind of story.
He did the right thing, Tim. I hope he got more than a hug.
Yeah. Was it we all learned that story from Honest Abe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honest Abe Lincoln. You remember that story?
I do.
And but it was also Abe Lincoln supposedly walked. Y'all help me now.
He was cutting down those trees, right?
No, that was George Washington. I cannot lie.
Cherry tree.
Okay,
right?
that's right.
I cannot lie. I did chop down the cherry tree. That's George Washington. Honest Abe was
the commercial. Do I look big in this dress? No, is that not it?
That's not it. That's definitely not.
You're not tracking with the story here with me at all. But I do know what you're talking about. But it was Honest Abe. What was it? He walked so many miles to take a nickel back or a penny
Something
back.
like
You
that.
remember this?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, this is where the panel helps. I'll look it up for you.
Google that or Brave
we
that.
should
Whatever. Honest.
We
Where
should
do
know
we
our
get
legends better.
where do we get the phrase Honest Abe from? And it's something about he walked a mile to take some money back.
While we're getting the answer to that, my question was going to be, how was this? Obviously, a diamond ring. Obviously, a wedding ring is very important. But how long were they married? Has her husband?
This was an older couple.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was an older couple.
So
I guess
I say older than you.
I guess what I'm saying, the point I was going to get at, just by looking at the images, I mean, after a 10-year ring,
This woman was so happy to get her wedding ring back. She was just squeezing the life out of that little 10-year-old boy, hugging him so tight.
Yeah, and the couple has a 50th wedding anniversary upcoming.
Yeah, so there you go, 50.
So the honest Abe meaning comes from the reputation that was built on numerous anecdotal from Abe Lincoln's life, such as walking several miles to return excess change that the customer gave him that he discovered once he got home.
Excess change. Yes, that's right.
And he
so
went
I remembered it right.
Well, yep.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, there's several of them, so you got to think statistically one of them's true. Otherwise, you don't get the reputation.
But the
of being
reputation
honest.
was Honest Dave. He was an honest person. That was the story. I'm assuming it's I'm going to assume it's true.
Yep.
I don't want to even think about my third grade teacher not lying to me about that. That would be very disheartening. All right, we're out of time here. Thank you for yours. Parrish, appreciate it.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Wesley, Ray, thank you.
You bet.
You're welcome.
And Fred Jackson, thank him. And Brent Creeley, our producer. We'll see you back here tomorrow.